Welcome to the SN classes. So today let us deal with the NCERT Class 7th, Chapter 1, Nutrition in Plants. I have already started the MCQs based on this chapter, right, in a short videos. But today I am going to deal with the complete chapter explanation. Okay. So first let us see what is nutrition. So nutrition is a process by which the organism obtain and utilize the food to carry out various life processes like growth, repair and energy production. So simply nutrition means there are the mixture of some of the nutrients like carbohydrates, proteins, minerals, vitamins, fat. So all these together it is a process called as nutrition. Okay, here by using the food these all nutrients are absorbed for the help of the processes like it may be growth, reproduction, repair and also for the gaining of the energy. So for this process itself it is called as nutrition. Okay. So now let us see the types of nutrition. So there are two types of nutrition. One is autotrophic nutrition and the second one is heterotrophic nutrition. So first let us discuss about the autotrophic mode of nutrition. So autotrophic mode of nutrition means it performed by the organism by that can prepare their own food. Auto, nothing but own. Trophic means preparation of food. Okay. So autotrophic nutrition, nothing but the organisms that can prepare its own food by themselves is called as autotrophic mode of nutrition. The best example is green plants and the algae. So where there is a green plants, like it may be algae too. Algae is also green in color, right? So algae, some of the green plants, which normally the plant cells, which and all consist of chloroplast in their cells. Those all the plants or organisms that can prepare its own food. Okay, because there is a presence of pigment called as chlorophyll in the chloroplast. Hence, those organisms it can prepare their own food, that is called as autotrophic mode of nutrition. As I told you, examples is some of the green plants and algae. With the help of these autotrophic mode of nutrition is the means the preparation of its own food is done with the help of the process called as photosynthesis. Okay. So now let us move on to the next slide, that is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So here it is performed by the organisms that depends on the other organism. It may be plants or else animals for food. So here hetero means depending on other. So the organisms which depend on the other organism, it may be animals, plants or human being, anything. It depends on the other organism for its food, then it is called as heterotrophic nutrition. The best example is humans, animals and fungi. So still other examples are also there. In the future classes or else in the future slides I'll be dealing with it. So here in the heterotrophic mode of nutrition, uh, extending the types of still more subtypes of heterotrophic mode of nutrition are there, mainly parasitic nutrition, saprophytic nutrition and symbiotic nutrition. So now let us see one by one. So now first let us see the photosynthesis, which is related to the autotrophic mode of nutrition. This autotrophic mode of nutrition is actually taken place with the help of photosynthesis, as I told you in the previous slide. So photosynthesis means what? It is a process where the organism making the food in all the green plants. So the clear definition is photosynthesis is a process by which the green plants prepare their own food using sunlight, carbohydrate, water and the presence of chlorophyll. As I told you in the previous classes and in the previous slide, photo means light and the synthesis means synthesizing. Okay, this is a process where the green plants prepare their own food by using the different materials like sunlight, water. By absorbing the sunlight, it also intakes the carbon dioxide, and it absorbs the water, and with the presence of pigment called chlorophyll. So totally this process is called as photosynthesis. Let us move on to the next slide. So there are some of the steps in the photosynthesis. First step is absorption of sunlight. First, the plant, what it does, it absorbs the sunlight. Actually, the sunlight is absorbed with the help of one of the pigment that is called as chlorophyll. This chlorophyll is present in the plant for trapping the sunlight, for absorbing the sunlight. This chlorophyll is actually present in the chloroplast organelle. That that chloroplast is actually present only in the plant cells. Okay, so the first step is absorption of sunlight, and the second step is intake of carbon dioxide. So intaking of the carbon dioxide is done by the plant. That carbon dioxide is taken from which organisms? Actually, these carbon dioxide is taken from the animals or else human beings. Okay, the plant takes the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere with the help of stomata. Stomata is a pore-like structure. In some of the MCQs in a short videos, I have already discussed that about some important information about the stomata. So this stomata is actually present in the leaves mainly. Okay, in the surface of the leaves there is a presence of stomata which helps in the respiration purpose for the plants, where this stomata helps for intaking of the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and giving out the oxygen to the atmosphere as a written thing. Okay, so this is the second step, that is intake of the carbon dioxide. What about the third step? Third step is absorption of the water and the minerals. Actually, water and the minerals is absorbed with the help of plant roots. So plant roots that can absorb the water and the minerals from the soil. Okay. So the fourth step is food formation. So finally, after using above things, all these above things or else nutrition, finally there is a food formation. With the help of minerals, water, carbon dioxide, sunlight, the food formation is going on. The trapped sunlight provides the energy for converting the water and the carbon dioxide into the glucose and oxygen. By the absorbed or trapped sunlight, the energy has been converted, like it actually absorbed the water and the carbon dioxide, right? So these water and the carbon dioxide is converted into the glucose and oxygen with the help of sunlight and chlorophyll pigment. Okay, so now let us move on to the next slide. That is the end product. What is the end product of the photosynthesis? There are two end products in the photosynthesis. One is glucose and another one is oxygen. So glucose used as food by the plants or else stored as a starch. Glucose, it is also called as carbohydrate. Okay, it is actually used as a food by the plant, or else like it is stored in the starch for the later use. Okay, so this is one of the end product, that is glucose, or else it is also called as starch or carbohydrate. Okay, and the next product is oxygen. So oxygen is actually released into the air or else released into the atmosphere, which is very essential for the survival of many human beings or else living organisms like animals, plants, animals, birds, human beings, etc. Okay, now let us see the equation of photosynthesis. So what is the main equation of the photosynthesis? Carbon dioxide plus water is going to convert into the carbohydrate and oxygen with the help of sunlight and chlorophyll. Okay, I think you have understood. I'll repeat it again. So, by using the carbon dioxide and water with the help of sunlight and chlorophyll, it is giving back to the atmosphere, that those products that is giving back to the atmosphere is carbohydrate and oxygen. Now let us move on to the next slide, that is the picture of photosynthesis. So here you can observe that sunlight is sunlight is absorbed by the leaf, where in the leaf there is a presence of stomata, which takes in the carbon dioxide and gives out the oxygen, right? And in the plant there is a pigment called as chlorophyll, because this chlorophyll actually present in the chloroplast organelle. Okay, so chloroplast organelle that consists of one of the pigment that is called as chlorophyll. Okay, and the roots here you can observe that it is taking in the water and minerals. So this is a picture of photosynthesis which is taken from the NCERT textbook 7th standard. Now let us see what are the main importance of photosynthesis. So first important is it provides the food and the energy for all the living organisms. With the help of photosynthesis, the plant can prepare its own food and it get stronger. It only gets stronger by preparing its own food, and later it is giving energy to the other living organisms too. Okay. Now, the next important thing is balances the oxygen and the carbon dioxide level in the atmosphere. It actually balances the carbon dioxide and the oxygen level, where the carbon dioxide that is given from the humans and the animals is intaken by these plants, and return it is giving back the oxygen to those human beings and animals. Okay. So next. Here we can see the other mode of nutrition in plants. One is parasitic nutrition and saprophytic nutrition. Later we can deal with the other types of nutrition. So first let us see these two. So what is nothing but parasitic nutrition? So parasites derived nutrition from other living organism, that is called as host. The parasite that is depending on the other organism for its food, for its nutrition, so those organisms is called as host. Okay, so the best example is cuscuta. It is also called as dodder plant. So these cuscuta actually wraps, surrounds around the host plant and absorbs that host plant's nutrition directly to it, and it actually decreases the growth of the host plants, decreases the development of the host plant, and actually those host plants nutrition is taken by this cuscuta and it grows completely very good. So this cuscuta, it is one of the parasitic plant. And next let us see the saprophytic nutrition. So saprophytic nutrition is simply known as plants that feeds on the dead and decayed organic matter. Saprophytic nutrition means simple, the plants that is going to feed on the dead substance. Dead, and some of them are decayed. Dead and decayed substance is taken by some of the plants, that is called as saprophytic nutrition. The best example is mushrooms. You can observe that these mushrooms actually grow in a moist condition, right? So there the wood, it may be wood or some dead and decayed, dead animals or dead plants that are decayed in the soil itself, right? So in those places, like moist places, these mushrooms are grown. So this dead and decayed substances are taken from these mushrooms and some of the fungi that releases the digestive juices to break down the dead and decayed matter and absorbs the nutrition. The best example, another one is like old or fungal surrounded bread. So the expired bread that can be occupied by the fungi and eaten by the fungi. Okay. So now let us see the one of the picture of cuscuta that is occupying one of the plant. Here you can observe that this cuscuta, yellowish like structure, that is cuscuta, that is occupied, that is surrounded to a green plant completely and taking all the nutrition that from the host plant. Okay, all these pictures are taken from the NCERT itself. Okay, and here is another picture, that is mushroom picture. Okay, so these mushrooms, here you can see that this place is all filled with the moisture content, and it is somewhat like what is that, dead and decayed substances, or else somewhat it is moist, right? So this decayed material, where the decayed material is there, these mushrooms and some of the fungi are seen and grown. Next, let us move on to the next one, that is bread, which is all surrounded, or else the fungi is grown on the bread. Okay. So next, let us move on to the insectivorous plant. So insectivorous plant means the plant that is taking the insect and eating of the insects and digesting the insects. So those plants are called as insectivorous plants. The plants trap and digest the insects to obtain the additional nutrition, that is like nitrogen. So nitrogen is taken by some of the plants which are deficient with the nitrogen. So in that way, indirectly, these plants are taking the nitrogen with the help of killing some of the insects by trapping them and digesting the insects. Okay, the best example is picture plant. So these picture plants, where the leaves are modified into a picture like structure. So picture like structure means somewhat jug like structure, it will be in this way. Okay, so these are picture plants. So this picture plant actually has a picture like structure where these insects are trapped inside. Okay, and here there will be a cap like structure. After insect is trapped inside, then this cap will be closed. So this is one of the best example for the insectivorous plant. And the another one is Venus flytrap, has modified leaves that snap shoot when insects touch it. So this Venus flytrap is actually somewhat it is present in this way. Okay, this is a modified leaf where it is somewhat flattened. After the insects that falls on it, it actually closes oppositely to each other and it digests the insects. Now let us move on to the next slide, that is what picture plant. So this is a picture plant which is jug like structure, where here the leaves are modified into jug picture like structure. Here this is the lid, or else it is also cap like structure, where the insect that falls into this jug like structure, after falling of insect into the that picture plant, this cap will close. Okay, next example, sorry, next nutrition is symbiotic nutrition. The two organisms live in mutually dependence and benefit each other is called as symbiotic relationship, where the two organisms are both are getting useful, both are getting benefits. So for example, one organism is giving shelter means, and the oppositely the other organism is giving the nutrition to this organism. So this type of mutual understanding, mutual relationship, spontaneous relationship is called as symbiotic nutrition. Okay, the example is lichen. So here the symbiotic association between the algae and the fungi is called as lichen. So here the algae is preparing its own food by its pigment called chlorophyll. By absorbing the sunlight, this algae is preparing its own food, whereas at the same time fungi is providing the water and shelter. So here you can see the relationship, mutual relationship between this algae and fungi. So whereas algae is giving the food for the fungi, and fungi is providing the water and the shelter for the what algae. Okay, now next one, let us see the rhizobium bacteria. So this rhizobium bacteria is actually seen in the root nodules of the leguminous plants. So in this leguminous plants, the fixed nitrogen is given by this rhizobium, where these leguminous plants are unable to absorb the nitrogen directly from the roots. So that by that reason, this rhizobium bacteria are giving the nitrogen gas to the root nodules of the leguminous plants. Okay, and they are getting the food and shelter from the leguminous plants. Okay, so now let us move on to the next slide, that is role of soil nutrients and the nitrogen fixation. Plants absorbs the essential nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. This is simply called as NPK. Okay, so NPK from the soil for their growth. Normally, has to get some of the essential nutrition, that is NPK, that is nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So, what about nitrogen fixation here then? So, nitrogen fixation means there are some of the points like plants cannot use the atmospheric nitrogen directly. So nitrogen is has to be converted into the usable form. That is, it has to be converted into nitrates or else ammonia. Okay. So this conversion is actually given helped by the rhizobium bacteria. It actually converts the nitrogen into the nitrates or ammonia. So here the rhizobium bacteria found in the root nodules of the leguminous plants like pea plant, beans, and beans and the lentils. Okay, so here lightening, the high temperature due to lightening help in nitrogen fixation. The lightening actually helps in the nitrogen fixation for the rhizobium bacteria. The artificial fertilizer is provide nitrogen directly to the soil. Okay. Let's move on. What are the key structures in the plant? So let us see the important structures in the plant, that is chlorophyll, stomata, root. So these are the main structures which helps for the gaining of the nutrition to the plant. So first let us see the chlorophyll. So chlorophyll is a green pigment found in the chloroplast. And what about the chloroplast? Chloroplast is one of the organelle that is seen in the plant cells. Okay, and this chlorophyll is essential for the absorbing of the sunlight during the photosynthesis. The chlorophyll, what is the function of chlorophyll means? It is actually essential for absorbing the sunlight where during the process of photosynthesis is taken place by the plant. Now let us see the stomata. Stomata, it is a tiny pores that are seen in the structures of leaves on the surface of the leaf. Okay, and it allows the carbon dioxide to intake and it gives out the oxygen to exit during the photosynthesis from the plant. And the next structure is root. Actually root, it is, you have already read it from the primary school, primary classes itself, right? So root actually it absorbs the water and the minerals from the soil, and it provides the stability to stand strongly. The plant should stand stronger, right? So it also gives some stability to the plant to stand stiff and strong. The pictures, here are two pictures. You can observe the chlorophyll that is present in the leaf structure, right? Here is the leaf anatomy, surface leaf anatomy. So here there is the presence of chlorophyll structure, and this is the stomata. Here you can observe the small pore like structure. And the next is, here are some of the leaves where there is a deficiency of green color because here there is a absence of some chlorophyll pigment, because there will be some absence of chloroplast organelles. So only these leaves are somewhat shaded colors. Okay, thank you so much.